Welcome back to a new episode of Ruote di Storia. Before diving into today's protagonist, we invite you to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. For you, it's just a small gesture, but for us, it's essential to continue sharing the stories of vehicles that made history. Today, we're telling the story of the very first MV Agusta in history, the 98, a motorcycle that could have been a Vespa. The story of MV Agusta is steeped in passion, determination, and ingenuity, beginning in a turbulent historical context that shaped the second half of the 20th century. The company was founded in 1919 by Giovanni Agusta as Costruzioni Aeronautiche Giovanni Agusta, initially specializing in the construction of aircraft for military purposes. After Giovanni's death in 1927, the leadership of the company passed to his son, Domenico Agusta, who continued to grow the business in the aeronautical sector. However, during World War II, the landscape changed radically. With Italy on the brink of defeat and war production nearing an inevitable halt, Domenico realized that finding a new direction was essential to prevent the company's collapse. The decision to diversify production and focus on motorcycles stemmed from the belief that post-war Italy would need affordable and simple means of transportation to aid mobility in a devastated country. While cars were ideal, they were beyond the reach of most Italians. Motorcycles, on the other hand, represented a more accessible solution. In 1943, Agusta's engineers, led by Domenico himself, began designing the first motorcycle model, a lightweight 98cc bike destined to become the first major product of the future MV Agusta. The engine design was already advanced and the wooden molds for casting were ready. The prototype featured a single-cylinder, two-stroke engine, 2 gears, a deflector piston, primary gear transmission, and a parallelogram fork with a spring. It was a simple motorcycle, yet one designed to meet the mobility needs of an Italian population exhausted by war. However, fate took a sharp turn on September 8, 1943, with the armistice that led to Italy's capitulation ushering in a series of challenges for Italian factories, including Agusta. Under German occupation, the facilities at Cascina Costa were immediately targeted and industrial activity was reduced to a bare minimum. The German military strictly forbade the production of anything unrelated to the war effort. During this turbulent period, Domenico Agusta, understanding the importance of safeguarding the future motorcycle project, took steps to protect it. The designs and models of the bike were hidden. The blueprints were taken home by Mario Rossi, who worked in the technical office at the time and would later become the technical head of the motorcycle division from 1948 to 1978. Meanwhile, the wooden molds for the castings were stored in the cellar of an employee, Mario Ganetti, who lived in Cascina Costa, a small village near Gallarate, where the Agusta plant was located. The most delicate tools and equipment were evacuated to avoid damage, with some transferred to Vergara and other materials moved to Samarate, both near Gallarate. Only a small part of the factory remained operational, with a few employees handling aircraft maintenance. As the war drew closer to its end, work on the motorcycle resumed clandestinely in 1944. The materials for the bike were moved to Vergara, where the company had relocated part of its operations. In one of the most secret spaces in the plant, near the diesel generator used for electricity, the project picked up momentum again. Initially conceived as a simple and affordable motorcycle, the engine began to take shape. In 1944, on a makeshift stand built from salvaged aircraft tubing, the magic of the piston moving within the cylinder came to life, marking the birth of Agusta's motorcycle production. After the war ended in 1945, the company was officially renamed MV Meccanica Vergara, and its first motorcycle model, the MV 98, was unveiled. Domenico Agusta initially named the motorcycle Vespa because the high-pitched, distinctive sound of the engine reminded him of an insect. However, the name Vespa had already been registered in 1935 by Miller Balsamo, a Milan-based company that had trademarked it for its own 98cc two-stroke utility vehicle. As a result, MV Agusta had to abandon the name and present the bike simply as the MV 98, with the number referencing the engine's displacement. The motorcycle was officially introduced to the public in Milan on Christmas Eve 1945, at the Necchi store in Piazza Cordusio, one of the city's most central and prestigious locations. It was displayed with a simple 98 marking on the front fender. The bike was elegant yet affordable, designed for the common person. The price was set at 98,000 lira, directly referencing the engine's cubic capacity. Originally intended to be a light motorcycle, the MV 98 quickly gained popularity for its reliability and simplicity, cementing its place as a vehicle for the people. Meanwhile, the Agusta team grew with skilled professionals from the aviation industry, bringing innovative ideas. Engineer Silvio Del Bianco, an expert in aircraft engines, revolutionized the distribution system by adopting a cross-flow setup with a flat piston. Giulio Cella from Alfa Romeo introduced significant modifications to the engine, while Mario Montoli developed a 3-speed gearbox and worked on the rear suspension. This led to the creation of the sport version, offered at a price of 135,000 lire. In September 1946, the luxury version was unveiled at the Milan Trade Fair. This model featured a telescopic fork, which was later incorporated into the sport version. MV Agusta's entry into racing came on October 8, 1945 in La Spezia. However, it was with the sport version that the motorcycle began to achieve significant success in competitions, greatly enhancing the brand's visibility and generating enthusiasm around it. Shortly after, the company rapidly expanded its lineup, introducing models such as the Zafiro and the 250, but that's a story for another time. The MV 98, born from that first motorcycle conceived in a secret workshop, became the cornerstone of a legend that has spanned decades. It solidified the brand as one of the most respected in the world of two wheels, a legend that has inspired riders, designers, and speed enthusiasts for over 80 years. We'll stop here for now. Remember, MV Agusta parts and vintage motorcycle spares can be found on the website thekingapiston.com. Wheels keep turning, stories endure. Every motorcycle tells a journey and reveals an era. See you at the next stop, always on two wheels and with a piece of history to share.